I've been wanting to participate in ArtFight for so long, and this year I finally did it. In case you didn't know, ArtFight is an annual art challenge where each team competes to get the most points by drawing each other's OCs, and the team with the most points wins. I am on Team Mystery this year, and I figured why not show y'all some of the processes I've done to draw some of these OCs. This first one is Enderking 5111's OC Amy, and this is actually the first ArtFight attack I have ever done. This was also considered to be a revenge attack. A revenge attack is basically if someone attacked you first, then if you draw their OCs and attack back, that would be considered a revenge attack. Supposedly there are revenge chains, so if y'all draw each other's OCs and attack each other back and forth long enough, it'll form a chain. I've never actually been a part of one. Like I said, this is my first ArtFight ever, and I've only drawn like 6 OCs at this point, but that does seem very interesting. I don't know. I feel like I'd want to be a part of one, but I don't know if I'd ever actually be a part of one this late, because as of recording this, there's only like a week or so left. So we'll see what happens. This was the first one that I did, so I was kind of doing it a little slower than I probably did for the other ones because I wanted it to turn out pretty well, so I sort of treated it like my other artworks. I did it sort of simplistically, I would say, until I got to the hair, in which case I felt like the magic wand tool was not doing a good enough job. So then I had the gradient go all over the place, and then I had to go back and erase everything, which was mildly infuriating, but at the same time, I kind of did it to myself because I felt like the magic wand tool wasn't doing a good enough job. And then I got to the hat and was a little concerned because I don't normally do accessories, and it's also meant to be a straw hat, I think, so I was like, oh, how am I gonna get this done? But we shall see. And I think it turned out pretty well in the end. So I am very happy with how this first one turned out. It was also a very interesting experience because ArtFight isn't something that I've ever really done before, but I really liked the concept of it. I've been wanting to do it for a couple of years, so finally being able to do it has been a lot of fun so far. Though some of the guidelines were a little, I won't say confusing. I got the hang of it once I actually did a couple of them, but sometimes I'm like, do I count this as a more quote-unquote polished work? What do I count the background as? Most of my backgrounds have been pretty simplistic after this, so it was easy to categorize, but I'm not quite sure how much polish is considered to be polished, because polish I think gives you extra points because it's like, oh, you made a lot more time on it, or you did an extra this or that. But it's like, how much really is polish, you know what I mean? Like, I have some of these ArtFight questions in my head, but I've never actually been able to like ask anybody them because I don't actually know anybody IRL who's participating in ArtFight. And it's also like, what's considered the minimum amount of ArtFight attacks that somebody really like should be doing? Is there a minimum that people expect from somebody? Because I know some people like typically expect like revenges, or they expect this or that, but again, it's my first time, so it's like, is there some sort of etiquette for this? Anyway, this is Cleo Dragon's OC Fion, and I really liked Fion because I looked on Fion's page for his OC information, and it said Fion was 7 centimeters tall, and I just thought that was adorable because who doesn't like a silly little guy? And I was kind of debating on if I just made like a very tiny little guy on the screen, and it's like, there you go, that's Fion, but I didn't really want to do that in the end. And also, this was also a revenge attack because Cleo Dragon also drew me along with Enderking 5111, so I wanted to make sure that I did him justice, you know? And I also figured I'd treat this, along with some of my other artworks after, as a little bit of like experimentation for myself. So Fion, I figured I would try something different with the line art, so you can see that it's a little different compared to Amy's, and that was because I tried like different brushes and different, I wouldn't say technique, but I guess it kind of is. Like, I was just trying different line art styles and different things with the eyes, because I saw that Cleo Dragon, should probably link some of this stuff down below. I'm going to be linking my ArtFight at the very least, but her art style was very cool, so I tried seeing how I could do Fion's eyes, because I thought that was very neat. Speaking of very neat stuff, this is Icy Melon's OC Rain, and Rain is really cool. I really liked the way that Rain's hair and eyes were, especially his hair. I wouldn't say it's similar to Nagito Komaeda, but that's like the closest thing in my head that I could claim Nagito is, so to speak. I wish that I could show a picture of it, but you're gonna see it in a sec. Like, it's that white hair with like a little bit of almost cream shading, and it looks really cool in Icy Melon style, but I don't think that I pulled it off as well as Icy Melon did. You know what I mean? He's so cool, and I wanted to emulate the coolness, but I don't know. Y'all tell me how well I did. And this is Chiro, and Chiro, reminded me of like almost like a magical girl OC. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Chiro is a magical girl, but if there was any of these OCs that I would say is a magical girl, it'd be Chiro. And that was what I really liked about her design, was that she just looked like really sweet. And I was like, I have to draw this now. So ended up drawing her, and she is probably the closest one that I said stylistically to Amy. Like, her and Amy I made kind of similar. I think Fion might be a little closer to the last drawing I did, but I was really just trying to use this as an opportunity to experiment with my art style and just see what I liked doing, because sometimes I find myself not necessarily in art block, but I just don't always spend the time that I have doing art. And I wish that I spent my time doing art more often, because it's a lot of fun, but understandably I can't be doing it all the time. So I figured I'd just treat this as a little bit of a art exercise. So I'm hoping that the rest of the time that we have in ArtFight, I can draw more OCs and get out of my comfort zone a little bit. Speaking of getting out of my comfort zone, this is the last OC up for today. This is V, and V was described as a drow werewolf, which I'm not exactly sure how that's different from other werewolves, but she was described as having an optimistic gremlin personality, and I thought that was very cute. So I really wanted to draw her and make sure that I did her accurately. So with V, I wanted to make sure that I really did that hair, like the braids in the front, and the eyes really well. But on top of that, the hair was drawn in like this, like almost painterly style, for a lack of other wording, and I wanted to try that out. I'm not sure if I got it where I wanted it to, but I feel like it looked cooler than if I just did what I usually did, if that makes sense. I don't know. Sometimes with lighter haired characters, it's this weird balance between making sure that it sticks to the color that it's meant to be, while also keeping the contrast high enough so that way the shadows and the detailing is still visible. You know what I mean? Because with V and Rain, their hair was stylized very differently because they had very different art styles, but you could still tell that it was like a cream colored hair or white colored hair, you know what I mean? But I wanted to make sure that I had that there. But once I got to the lighting, and you'll see that pop up in a sec, I almost made it like this more yellowy color, but when it's already cream, you know, is that even noticeable? So that was sort of the balance I was having to deal with V. But I think V is very cute. And I really like her ears, her little elf ears. I think that's cute. Same with like the earring and stuff. I tried to make sure that that was like shaded nicely. But with that, I think that's all the OCs I have for today. Let me know what you think of these artworks, and let me know in the comments below if you've tried ArtFight and what your experience has been with it. Have you gotten a lot of attacks done? Have you been attacked a lot yourself? Which have been called defenses, I believe. I've got a couple of defenses myself. I think they're all adorable. If you want to draw my persona or any of my OCs, I'll be sure to link my ArtFight. And let me know if you actually want me to draw a lot of my OCs. I actually haven't been able to post a lot of my OCs yet because I haven't been drawing a lot of them recently. A lot of my recent art has been fan art, so let me know if you want to see my OCs, and maybe I'll redraw some of them because it has been a hot minute since I've done that. But like I said, let me know in the comments below, and with that, I hope y'all have a magnificent day, and I'll see y'all later.